Hey, what's up, everybody? JL is here with you once again, and let me before I start talking or whatever. I just want to thank you guys for continuing to like to be fans of mine and such. Like I want to thank all of the spiritual realms, and before we begin, I'd also like to take this time to say, well, why don't we take some time, just to slow out of our busy days and schedules, and why don't we take this time, to thank all of our ancestors, and to ask our ancestors to show us, to be there in our lives, to show us the path that we must take, each personally. And obviously I'm whispering because I'm whispering because the truth is powerful, and because the truth is powerful, I would like it that, this thing, what I'm saying, like, that people be, that because the truth is powerful, don't speak it too loudly, just, what I'm trying to say, but, what else can I say, just continuing with our prayer, I want to thank my ancestors, I want us to thank our ancestors, if you would care to join, if you would care to, to also have some medicine, too, so, you could ask your ancestors that have transitioned, because there is a lineage there, and, that's how we're gonna get stronger, is by calling on those that have gone before us, and asking them for their help and their guidance, to speak in a good way and to live in a good way, and by honoring them, by opening the channels of communication with our ancestors, and with all the spiritual beings in the world, we're letting them know as well that we do need their help, but you kind of have to ask for help, they're not going to help you unless you go to them and you tell them your problems, and you tell them, in many ways, you literally tell them, this is not my fault, some of these things are out of my control. You gave me this, especially a lot of all you other people, all you people who've said, the Satanism and such, that you guys in particular said, well, in life, you guys didn't, in life you guys this isn't that, but now how about in death? You know, give me the medicine, give me the strength to continue and such. Or, you know, as even I would say, is is I would say, you know, put an end to all this. You know, also give the strength. If you really want to be a positive, if you really don't like this, if you really, you know, if this is really affecting you, you know, then you gotta tell your ancestors, and you gotta tell all of the spiritual guardians that you have, to honestly tell them you don't want to live this way anymore. And I'm telling you right now, you don't have to live this way. I'm telling you right now, we don't have to live this way as a people. You know, the satanic way of life is totally fucked up. You know, but the reason it goes on is because, well, it goes on, but I always tell people, you know, I told my dad, you know, the thing is, you know, the victim becomes the victimizer. You know, in that culture of Satanism, it's literally a snake eating its own tail. So literally, you know, it's time. Well, that's not time. The time is whenever. Time is, you know, is even relative. You know, but rather it's your emotions and how you feel about these things, and obviously the collective emotions are changing and growing, but you know, also too, you know, like we gotta, you know, I always say, you know, they hate anything that's good, and they literally pit themselves, anything that's good and positive, you know, they literally go against it, you know. So if people are trying to be wholesome and loving to each other and respectful to each other, you know, and listen to people, you hear people out and such, then that gives people medicine. You know, if you take the time to really listen to someone and really you hear them out and listen to what they're saying and such, you know, then you become a positive influence on them, because, you know, you're letting that person know that they're not going through this alone by themselves, because you're willing to, you know, be there with them through all this, and that they're not alone, and that you understand their situation. And that's the very thing that they don't want anymore. You know, never mind the fact that as a people we seem to kind of have been going in that direction, you know, but now especially with all this Black Lives Matter shit, and it's all manipulation, dude. You think it's this, you think it's that. It doesn't mean anything, skin tone, you know, really. It's very much on the surface. It's very much superficial. And the fact that, you know, I think things were changing and such, and you know that we are becoming more interconnected, you know, and all these things, that to them is a threat, you know. You know, that's a major threat, because they're all about control. To them, they only want us. They only see us to serve their purposes. You know, it's only see that it's all about them, and they view us as their property. Even though, here's the thing, we're divine beings. They in their grand experiment, pardon me, have achieved what they want, which is what? Which is they are in control of a planet where divine beings are incarnating. You know, intelligent, spiritual beings, you know, spiritual beings of God, of spirit, not of counterfeit, not the counterfeit, the thing they got, you know, or whatever, but genuine spiritual beings. You're a genuine spiritual being. There's no doubt about that. That you are a genuine, unique, spiritual being living this experience. Right? And this is for them, is what they need, you know, to generate loosh. Because, you know, even though you are spiritual divine beings, they control a lot of the other parameters of your experience, of our experience. And now it's kind of coming to a culmination right now. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Like, after these 12,000 years, 10,000 years, you know, they're finally implementing their final solution, and they're trying to, you know, all kinds of crazy shit, God knows what. And yeah, you know, it's pretty fucking crazy, you know. And I was gonna, it's crazy, I was gonna talk about me. I was like gonna be like, I know I'll type something up in Spanish, you know, but I was gonna talk about me, like, in bands and everything. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna get a chance to talk about all of the things that I've been going through and shit. But you know what? It's so true. Once you get the microphone in your hands, everything changes. And, you know, that's the only thing that matters, you know, is really understanding our situation here. You know, this is civilization, and is their creation as we know. Not necessarily their creation, but it's like their civilization, their version of civilization, of society, you know, because I'm sure, you know, civilization could actually, good chance it would occur, you know, but it would be nowhere close to what it, you know, society, what it is, like, you know, under the control of these beings, you know, who I personally believe that, you know, I personally believe they are like, they're not like, they're vampires, you know, they're energetic vampires, and actually literal vampires. And you know, what's another word for that? A parasite. Leeches. You know, they feed off of our energy, and that's why, for them, they literally are so invested in focusing on you. they can't even. There was a time and a point and a place where I'd be like, don't people have lives? Don't people focus on their own thing? Like, why are they always, don't they realize, like, them focusing so much, this was years ago, so much on me, that it's you know what I'm saying? Like, what about their lives? What about, because so much of their time and energy, they're using it, to keep tabs on me and such, and such, and it's odd, they're always focusing on an external and really, really focusing on that. But it's actually because they, like I've been told, they personally can no longer look at themselves in the mirror. They can't do that. They can't, so they live almost vicariously through you. But really, it's, but really it's for a slew of reasons. I'm not trying to, get into it really, but, in depth into it, but, and I'm not trying to get into it with them either. I know I'm, but, it's kind of like, how should I say this? Yeah, because they're vampires, they can't, they themselves are not generating anything. They're not even generating for themselves, They are, by all means, surviving, living by feeding off of the energy of others. That's their continued mental plane existence. It's nuts. And Aloha, their Aloha has been so poisoned, that, to really confront that, the only way they're going to confront that is if people themselves force them, these beings, these energetic beings, to then confront themselves, because they're our supply. We've cut them off. This is why they're so terrified. They're so terrified of people literally just talking about it, because they know how truly, if the people honestly turned, and with the same energy that they manipulate everything from the shadows, well, then all of a sudden everybody cast off their cloak of fear and said, nah, fuck this shit. I've had it. Fuck these beings and what they do. And if it wouldn't even take that many people to get it started, but it's not gonna be televised. Don't ever think you're gonna follow their same patterns, because it's the same patterns. You'd be doing the same thing they're doing. It's too fucking easy to do that. Wait for someone else or whatever to take action, and then hope that hope that you're along for the ride. No siree, Bob. That time is over. And now it's seriously time to consider, what John F. Kennedy says is, what can I do? That's why I say, first it needs to be something with your heart. Now, how's that for a firework? That's why the start needs to be in the heart. It's not going to be in the mental sphere, because the mental sphere will follow what the heart wants. If the heart has decided in such a way that this is what the heart wants, without a shadow of a doubt, the mind will be convinced and will follow what the heart wants, and it will not change, and it will not be broken, it will not be persuaded, and it will not falter. That is the power that they do not have. That is the medicine. That is why they feed off of it, because they don't have that. That's why they feed off of our energy. You know, and that's the only thing. But, you know, there's so many factors. If you do switch out of the heart and you switch into the mind, that's when you will be defeated. You will be defeated because the mind will start coming up with ideas and reasons and excuses, you know, to not, you know, but that doesn't matter, because, you know, we all know the mental sphere is being controlled by these beings. You know, this is their main function, and in fact, the main energy level of corruption happens in the mental sphere. You know, and this is why I say, call upon your ancestors. You know, they're not going to abandon you. Even in the other dimensions, they don't even have a duty and obligation. They do things out of love, because they love you, and we all have our guardians and our protectors. Each and every single one of us. You know, they love us, and they completely understand the situation we're going through, you know. But if we don't talk to them, and if we don't let them know, this is how I truly feel, then how can we expect to get a response from them? I think I can hear a rat that's trying to tunnel through. Oh yeah, that's for sure a rat. I'm gonna have to... Man, I've seen some huge rats. The other day I seen a huge one. I was like, dang, things look like a small bunny rabbit. What else? But that's the only way, because even in life, dude, even in life, bro, come on, man, even in life, many of you guys whose parents, you know, and grandparents and all this, because it's been going on for some time, even, I know that the elders, they express, you know, that they don't agree with these things personally either, you know, you know, so that kind of begs the question, well, if they're not in agreement with this either, and I'm not in agreement with this, you know, and certainly, you know, my offspring, you know, they are still themselves are not in agreement with this. That's why I kind of am like letting you guys know, well, you know, what are you guys kind of waiting for, you know, because the more that time goes on, you know, the more difficult, the more they're gonna set in, the new world order is gonna be setting in, and as much as you would think that they control everything and this is inevitable, it's not inevitable. It absolutely is not, you know, but, you know, there's no such thing as a little bit of Satanism. You know, if you're in it, Satanism, you're in all the way, you know, and it's just a matter of time, really, and they don't have any mercy. In fact, I don't want to go into it, but these people are psychopaths. But like I said, if their greatest fear is for you to light a candle, light a fire of truth and light and of love and aloha, and confront them with it. That's their absolute greatest fear, is if and when you take your medicine, which these people, they're vampires, and all of you guys listening right now, took the medicine and said, nah, fuck that, dude. Fuck that. Fuck this shit. Say, fuck that, dude. I don't want to live that way. I don't want to be this way anymore. I want to do what I want to do now, and trust me. Time goes like that. If you're worried about, I know a lot of you guys aren't, but if for some reason you're worried about what you're going to do without Satanism, trust me, think about it like this. You're going to wake up and you're like, what do I want to do today? And then you go ahead and do it. That's what I want to do. Like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to play video games, or I just want to, but I trust me, that's not going to be the case. You're going to be like, man, everything is good. Everything would just be like, the possibilities, I think, would be a total rebirth of this Mother Earth. Are you kidding me? We would be begging to reincarnate, because we'd be like, this is the fruit of our labors, I want to continue my own lineage and see how we can grow and become, greater than we once were, and it would be like a total snowball effect. People to confront the evil, but, the only way it can be done is if it's done in numbers, and if it's done in a good and wholesome way, but, we're together, it's not gonna be positive. That's why they're afraid of the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement was a preemptive strike of that medicine, because they were truly afraid of that, of a genuine Me Too movement. So they've prepared for these contingencies and such, And we're seeing a lot of manipulation, from the different ethnic groups. They're throwing doom and gloom like you wouldn't believe. Doom and gloom. But, if the people are not willing to counter it with medicine and love and good spiritedness and cooperation, then they are gonna get their goal. But then if you start saying, well, what if you start having that spirit of medicine, you're gonna start thinking, well, it's not enough. You start thinking, well, it's everything or nothing. The same with Satanism. What's the reason of compromise when there is no reason to compromise? Because it wouldn't, everything else besides the Aloha would only take time to accomplish. All of it, like, rebuilding the forests, feeding, providing for ourselves, growing good plants and healthy foods and such, recovering the wildlife, it would take time, but it would recover, and it would recover incredibly so, because the planet would realize that humanity has now taken ownership. The spiritual beings, the divine spiritual beings, have realized their true potential, which is being totally totally suppressed, handicapped, and leached off by these beings, these Anunnaki, who have not only done this, are not doing this to our planet, but have done this to other planets before us, and are going to continue. They're going to even grow, not even a lot more powerful, but they're going to have another planet, another star that they were able to totally manipulate and get their way with, and they're going to continue, right? Obviously, the war is going to continue. It's not going to stop right now. It's not going to stop. It's going to keep going. But if people don't have the medicine and the love and the desire to achieve their own freedom, because they don't even know or believe or think that they deserve it, and I'm not referring to anybody in particular, but if you guys don't feel that you are even worthy of yourselves, and that's why I say it honestly is going to take a true spiritual awakening, a spiritual awakening, and realizing that this is all just an illusion, because the true medicine is you. And that same medicine that I felt with the infinite love and life and aloha of Mama Earth is within all of us. That same medicine, that same medicine is within every single one of you guys, but it's just potential. It's totally suppressed. It exists, but it is not manifested. It is not realized here on this plane, this third dimensional plane, not because of anything in particular even, but because they have so much divide and conquer, so much trauma that they make people go through, that it kind of doesn't allow you to grow, to have that strength as an individual, to believe in yourself, because people are so traumatized by what they can and cannot do. They've been conditioned to not realize their full potential because of the trauma and the abuse. That it's too much, It's absolutely way too much for anybody to overcome by themselves. This is why I say, there's strength in numbers, and if we all go in support, a genuine, and not no motherfucking George Soros, Black Lives Matter, Me Too cooperative shit, that's all CIA. But to admit 100% your experience and speak your truth, there is nothing they can say to you about that, can they? There's really nothing they can say about that, because one is in their medicine, one is speaking their truth, their experience, their life, their emotions, This is incredibly powerful, especially if such accounts, are many people go through the same things. So many people have these emotions, you know, and you know, and they talk about these things. And people are in their truths, you know, that is the ultimate medicine, you know. And if we do this, and the only way we're gonna do this is if people rise in support of each other, you know. And we all know the numbers of the victims are overwhelming. You know, we're talking, the reason why they have so much control now is I think they've got up there, a vast majority of people are satanic. You know, something close to like, it's gotta be more than, you know, 2/3 for sure. You know, just to say that, you know, it's gotta be more than 2/3 of the world population. I think it's personally closer to like 80 or 90% of the population that's and only 10% of the population, if that isn't. So I think those are the real numbers. So this is why all of a sudden they are now, because you know they play it very safe, you know. They play it very safe, and now everything has gotten to the point where the technology and all of these things are kind of at, you know, where they want them to be, you know. But if people don't, you know, but if people are still stuck, you know, living their life, going through their emotions, thinking that, you know, feeling these emotions and such, you know, then nobody's ever going to, you know, there's never going to happen and nothing's ever going to come of it, because people are so bothered just, you know, licking their wounds and such, understandably so, you know. But people, you know, but you know, I know it's painful, you know, I know it is, but you know, if we're being completely and totally honest with ourselves, you know, the experience that the women are going through, for instance, is not unique to themselves. They make you feel that way, though. They isolate you and make you feel like it's just you, like you're all alone and such in this world, on this planet, and you know, you have to do this by yourself, but you don't. Not if everybody is having the same fucking experience with the Illuminati, you know. But such is the level of programming, of trauma, that it is incapable of creating that, you know. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Bye for now.